Got it. We are being live streamed. I'm closing the window so I don't get the echo because I am out of practice. Happy Wednesday night, everybody. I am so excited to be here hosting the ER Shred Come Alive call. I am Heather Seeka-Leonard, head of the board, chief shred educator, and I'm so excited that I get to be the one to fill in on this call because these calls are amazing energy. These calls are showing how many shredders are showing up and that summer doesn't slow us down. Let's be real. This is a lifestyle. We have embraced it. We have taken it on and we are loving it and we are living it. A couple of announcements before we get started. I want to thank our Shred ambassador, Mr. Jesse James Jamnick, for his amazing call last night. Very informative, very informational for all of us about this lifestyle. People see the 11 days and we all know, and this is why we are here, that it is so much more than 11 days. So I want to thank him for that call last night. I want to thank the superheroes that have signed up to share with us tonight. There is room on some of the upcoming calls. So if you are interested in sharing your story to be a superhero, go into our Facebook community, www.ershredders.com. Join, answer the membership request questions, and then in the featured post, you will see the Come Alive call, and there is the sign-up form for an upcoming call. So feel free to join us to share your stories. Once you have shared your story and you've had your Come Alive moment, there is a business opportunity that comes along with this. And tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, our other ambassador, Mr. Bob Sivright, will be live on Zoom in Shredders Unite Biz to share some tips and tricks and do a mastermind call around those who are getting ready to share the shred and start to take on the business side that is available if you choose to pick it up. So that being said, I want to get into why we're here. We are here because we want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories and your experiences of this protocol because we know that this protocol is life-changing. So our first guest tonight is Miss Rebecca Brisbois.
That was close. Brisbois, you got it.
Brisbois, I got it. Okay, second time's a charm. Welcome, Rebecca. Where are you calling in from?
Thank you, Heather. I am calling in from Marco Island, Florida.
Awesome. And who shared ER Shred with you?
Susan did.
Of course she did. Our sage, our head of the medical professional side of our board, the amazing Miss Susan Rothman, and we are so grateful for her. She's been an amazing asset for all of us, and we know she's here to support all of us. So I appreciate that. So Rebecca, before we get into your story, what is it you're passionate about?
Well, that's a good question. Complicated question. If I had to answer that in a short way, I would say helping other people.
Helping other people. It's such a powerful thing to do, isn't it? So helping other people with what? Getting their lifestyle back, helping them just in general?
Well, I gave you just a really general answer because I was a teacher for a long time and I was home with my kids for a long time. I've been in the health and wellness nutrition space in various ways. So kind of if I had to sum that all up, gotcha. I've always been in some way helping other people.
Hashtag educators. Always teaching, no matter what. We find those teachable moments every chance we can, don't we?
Right.
All right. So how long have you been living the shred lifestyle?
Not long at all. I'm pretty new. So, and you tell me, Heather, if you want me to just answer your questions or if you want me to just talk and tell my story, you tell me.
Tell your story.
Okay. So, my husband and I moved to Florida almost a year and a half ago from Massachusetts.
Yay, New England. Sorry.
Yeah. Is that where you are?
I'm in Connecticut, Northeast corner, about 45 minutes south of Worcester.
Okay, awesome. So, been pretty healthy my whole life, luckily. Not a lot of health issues, no medication, always kind of I was a teacher, like I said, taught kindergarten, first grade, special ed, stayed home with my kids for a long time. And I'm a perpetual learner. So I went back and did a degree in nutrition at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York while I was home with my kids, just because I like to learn, and ended up kind of using that professionally and did some health and wellness coaching at a yoga studio where I was practicing for a while. I taught aerobics like way back in the 80s and 90s, in the days of like Jane Fonda, big hair, colored like leg warmers and tights. That was me. So right, I thought like, oh, that's just a good way to get free gym memberships, right? So anyway, so I kind of been in that space for a while, and then I was a certified trainer for a while in the early 2000s, and I kind of did everything health and wellness and exercise. I did Pilates and yoga and CrossFit and, you know, all the things, and kind of took for granted that I was healthy and my body worked the way it was supposed to. And then I got older and went through menopause, and we moved to Florida, which was a really positive change for us. But after I moved here, I got diagnosed with both Hashimoto's and vitiligo, two autoimmune issues. And so, like I said, I'm a perpetual researcher, reader, learner. My PCP, who I like and is a very good doctor, when he was the one who told me I had Hashimoto's, and he told me I had to be on a synthetic thyroid medication for the rest of my life. And I was like, so that, I don't really like that answer. I don't think so. And also I was struggling with, I had gained weight and I was really struggling, like no matter what I did, it was just not coming off of me. And so I started researching and reading, which led me to, I read a book, I think it was called Stop the Thyroid Madness Part 2. And Dr. Dash was an author of one of the chapters in there about Hashimoto's. And when I read at the end of the chapter that he was in Florida, I said to my husband, like, I don't care where he is in Florida, I'm driving, I don't care how far it is. And so it was, you know, wasn't that far. And that's how I met him. And then obviously Susan. And he changed my, you know, I had some testing, more lab testing done, and I went on to a natural thyroid medication, which really helped to give me back some of my energy, because I'm a pretty high energy person. But with this Hashimoto's, I was like falling asleep in the middle of the day. I just was, I didn't want to do anything. I wasn't exercising. My feet were aching. All kinds of weird things, which would prevent me from wanting to go to the gym or take a walk or do basically anything that was good for me. And when Susan was very slow and gentle introducing me to the ER shred and kind of let me get settled with my natural thyroid medication, my bioidentical hormones, all different kinds of things that were happening for me. And then she, you know, slowly told me about the shred, and I thought to myself, like, there's just no way I'm fasting for 2 days. Like, I can't do it. I won't feel good. I'll pass out. I'll have a headache, you know, the whole thing that I'm sure a lot of us have thought, right? And Susan really held my hand and like coached me through the whole thing, because I was like, what do you mean? How do I incubate the shake? Even though the directions on the Facebook page are very clear, it still was a lot to take in, right? And I felt great. Day 2 of my first cleanse, you know, my 21-year-old daughter is here with us for the summer. She was like, Mom, what do you mean? How do you feel? You know, it's like, I don't have a head. I feel okay. I feel great. And so, you know, my first 11-day shred was May, I think, not too long ago. Maybe it was early June. I can't remember. I'd have to look back. So I felt great. I started to sleep better. You know, everything's not perfect. My feet aren't back to perfect, but they're much less achy. I have more energy. I've lost 9 pounds. I'm back to going to the gym. I'm walking. I took a pickleball lesson the other night for the first time. So I'm just really, really excited.
And what I was hearing, like the lost 9 pounds, you just kind of dropped in there like it was a side effect. And I love that, because what I heard is you got your life back. You were playing pickleball, you were back to the gym, you were moving, you were living. And I love that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'd like to continue to lose more weight and get back to the weight where my body is comfortable. And I know that will happen. But for me, it was more important to feel like myself again, and to feel like I wasn't just going to fall asleep in the afternoon or not really be productive. So
yeah, you took your life back. And I also like how you shared, you know, when you were starting your journey and when you met Susan, you had a lot of stuff going on. And so you had to take it slow. And that's really important for people to take in, that you can't go all into something and be adjusting this and adjusting this and adjusting this and adjusting this all at the same time, because your body's not going to respond. So like, I think about the first 11 days in somebody who is a couch potato and they eat junk, and then they all of a sudden want to do the shred but also hit the gym 7 days a week. No, it's not going to work, because it's not going to be sustainable. You have to kind of take these in chunks. And so you took your first chunk working with Dr. Dash, doing what you had to do for your medical reasons, and you were working with a medical professional, because we don't treat, cure, prevent anything with the ER shred. So you did what you had to do from the medical side. And then you were able to take on the food side and start to see those other results, because your body is battling 2 autoimmune issues. And that's a lot for your body to process on its own. So by taking care and, I love that you said no to what your doctor recommended and you looked for somebody else.
Yeah.
And we're allowed to do that.
Yeah. And he's still my doctor, but I told him that I was going to see somebody else, and that was not I didn't want to keep, and he was like, okay, great, go get another opinion and see how that goes for you. And I really was kind of resistant to the idea that I had any food intolerances, because I never thought, I didn't have any digestive issues, and I still really don't. And I just kind of associated in my head, if dairy bothers you or gluten bothers you, that's how it's going to show up. Right. And I've now seen on the other side of that, like, there's so many things that, and I haven't introduced everything yet, but there's been some things that I had a glass of wine when I finished my 11 days and had a headache. I was like, okay, that was just coincidental. I'm going to try that again. Still had a headache. So yeah, it's been really fascinating.
And there are some treats, let's be real. There are some treats that we know there's going to be a negative side effect, and we brace ourselves for it. And it's like, we know what the outcome is going to be, but we make that informed choice. Right. Because there's been some times, there's a winery 7 miles down the road from me. I get it. There's sometimes I want to make that choice. I know I'm going to feel like crap in the morning. So is it an every night thing? Absolutely not. But again, it's an empowered, informed decision. And I really wish, and I hope people get from your story, really, that it's okay to seek out a second opinion and look for different ways to approach things. That's so huge. And I think people are scared to offend people. I think people are scared to offend their physician by saying, that's not really for me, so I'm going to go somewhere else. Or for at least this, I want to look into alternatives. And that's okay. We are entitled, we are empowered to do that. Absolutely. So I think people need to. And then you dig into that empowerment and you address your nutrition and you get your life back. Somebody who was a former fitness instructor up here in crazy Massachusetts, because us New Englanders are unique. Let's just be real here, right?
Yes.
Us New Englanders are a unique breed.
We are. We definitely are.
But then all of a sudden, life happens and you end up with these 2 autoimmune issues, and your life just kind of changes immediately. But you do your shred in May. You have Susan coach you through it. So you said you weren't going to be able to do those 2 cleanse days, and Susan coached you through it. What would you tell somebody else who's telling you, I'm not doing it, I can't do 2 days of cleanse? What would you say to them?
Well, I guess I would really encourage them to just try it and to open their mind, because I definitely went in. I mean, Susan was very, she was coaching me all the way, holding my hand all the way. But in my mind, I probably never said this to you, Susan. I was thinking to myself, yeah, I'm just going to eat if I want to, because I'm just going to drink a shake. That was my plan. I'm going to drink a shake if I feel awful. And so I think I would tell that to somebody, like, it's okay if you don't, it's not like a do or die. If you feel awful, drink a shake, but you'll just give it a try, be open-minded, and you'll see how great you might feel.
Yeah. And you're feeling great. And so has your daughter, so she watched you do that 2-day cleanse. What was her thought?
She was sorry that she didn't join me. She felt like she's got a lot of gut issues that she can't get to the bottom of, but she didn't want to. She was like, I'll perish. I won't be able to go 2 days without food. There's no way I'll make it. Da, da, da. She's away right now visiting a friend, but she has been drinking my shakes. So we'll see what happens.
So stubborn, independent 21-year-old. I know nothing of the sort.
Right. Yeah.
But if mom's got it available.
Right. She doesn't incubate it all the time because she thinks, I don't have the time. I'm gonna whatever. So anyways, but she's kind of dipping her toe in a little bit.
And that's all you can do, right? You lead them by example. I was messaging with Susan the other day. My 7-year-old yells at me if I don't incubate his shakes because his body digests them differently. Mom, you did not bubble my shake long enough. I am tubing. Like, you need to go back and fix this, right? They see what mom does and they want to do the same.
Right. Yeah.
And what a gift that is for her to be visiting you at this time, right? And how long is she with you?
For the summer. She's a college student, so she's going back to Tulane in August.
So you got a little bit more time to drip a little bit more, and then those care packages to the college dorms.
Right.
You might have a couple canisters, right? What a better way to eat dorm food than have a couple of incubated shakes.
Right. Yeah. She still tells me she doesn't think they taste great, but she drinks them.
Yeah, well, she's 21. We understand. This is what it is. We've all been there. Is there anything else on your heart that you want to share with our Shred community?
I don't think so, other than just thank you. Like, I'm just really grateful that I read the book I read, that I went to Dr. Dash's office, that I met Susan, that I got on here. I'm a big believer that things happen the way they're supposed to. So it was the right time, the right place. So thank you.
100%. Everything happens for a reason, and there was a reason that you two connected. You were supposed to be here. Can we throw up some swords for this Shred warrior superhero coming on and sharing her story, because we know how difficult that is. We appreciate you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. All right, I don't see Sean, who is going to give us a new share, so let's check in with some updates. Miss Isabel, are you around and ready for me?
I am.
Hi, Fred.
Hi there. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. This is the only way I get to see you.
No, I'm here. I'm live all the time. Let's be real. And I want to say,
live, like me being able to speak to you like this, it's a joy to see all of you. It really is.
And I just want to say, before we even get started, thank you for showing up. You have brought an amazing energy into our community, motivating people, cheering them on, and showing up for us every day. So I want to say thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Before we get started, as a recap, where are you calling in from?
I am in sunny Southern California.
And I had to remember that, because when you said, will I be off by 6 o'clock? And I'm looking at my clock saying 7:45. I knew it wasn't the right time zone for you. And who shared ER Shred with you?
Sarah O'Bannon.
Awesome. Another hero who is going to be coming on our call next week to give us an update. Love that. Sarah has brought some amazing energy into this community as well. And what is it you're passionate about?
My passion is my health and helping others understand nutrition, because you have to understand it. It's a definite science that I did not realize until I came to the ER Shred.
I was going to say, has your understanding of nutrition shifted a little bit?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. So why don't you share a little bit about what your understanding has shifted?
Well, I started in May, and I haven't stopped. It's been back-to-back shreds. But I've learned that red meat is not bad. That was the biggest thing for me, was eating red meat and watching it cook on butter and bacon, butter. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gross at first. Okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm eating this. This is awful. This is not good for me. But I'm going to trust my friend Sarah. And, I moved on, but I've learned that it truly has satisfied me. This nutrition that I'm doing now with the shred, it satisfies me. And you don't deprive yourself from eating. You're hungry, you eat. I didn't know that either, and those two main factors in my life of not understanding that protein, which is the real meat, satisfies you. And if I'm hungry, I go grab a beef jerky. If I'm hungry, I go grab a piece of chicken. It's okay, and I felt guilty. It's like, oh my gosh, I think I'm eating too much. And I've learned throughout my journey about the importance of pink Himalayan salt. I do have to share that in the beginning, when on my second shred, I was noticing that I was extremely tired.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I reached out to Sarah, and that's when she said to me, go up to the guides, and she's taught me. And after I did that I started educating myself, like you said, shreducation. I went into the guides, and now I am proficient with the guides and understanding. I put pink salt and it comes out. But what I'm trying to say here is I didn't realize how important pink Himalayan salt is and the electrolytes that the amped gives us. And one example is that I literally thought I was dying. Okay. And that, I was done. And Melanie and Sarah walked side by side with me in the beginning and guided me to the pink salt thing. And I did. And then I have my husband following me. And yesterday he said, I'm not going to work. I'm really sick. I think I'm going to need to go to the hospital. And I'm sorry, guys, but some men are just so drama. And so I hope he's not hearing me, but anyways, and I literally said, look, you need to drink 16 ounce of water. Let's put thing with amped and let's do some more pink Himalayan, because I didn't know that pink Himalayan salt, the amped hydrate has pink Himalayan salt already in it, but I put more in it. Okay. And he said, you and your stuff, you and your Isagenix stuff, and I said, listen, can you just drink this right now so you won't die? Just do it, and we're going to take you to the hospital. Don't worry. And so he drank it, and I said, just keep drinking it. And he spoke with the doctor. The doctor said, well, we don't have any appointments today, but tomorrow we'll see you, which is today. And he goes, I guess I'm going to have to I go, drink it all day. Just drink it. Keep going. By the third time that he drank his third one, he goes, Isabel, that was it. I am fine now. I am awake. And oh my God. And I'm like, so that's my stuff that you didn't believe me, and then now I'm coming to all this to tell you that now he's saying, look, you said meat was bad for you. Look at you making bacon and all that stuff. And I said, correct. But we have to also know that we eat the bacon and it has to not have nitrates and it cannot have this. And we have to watch what we are eating. We just don't buy any kind of bacon. And we just don't buy any kind of meat. So I've learned all of that, and he's learning with me. This was huge for me with him because he didn't believe me. and honestly, and then I had him go, I took him to the guides and said, look, let's put electrolytes so you can see how important electrolytes are. And he's, now I finally got him to understand, and I'm understanding I'm being a better teacher and a better coach.
So I have a question for you, because you just shared a ton of information and I love it. But my question for you is, what do you say to that person that doesn't have the trusting relationship like you had with Sarah, at the beginning when they saw the beef and the butter and they said, no, I can't do that.
I've had some people like that, and I still have some that are in the ER shred and don't believe all of this, but that's okay. I guide them to the guides that, you know, our university shred education, and I show them everything, and I say, just trust me that it works, but you do it on your own time. A lot of people are still treading very lightly because they don't believe it. I'm one that, thankfully, I was given that gift of, I just go for it and do it and see what happens. You know, if it doesn't work, it didn't work, you know. But one thing I also wanted to say too, because the young lady that just spoke earlier, she had a Hashimoto's, so do I. And that's one thing that I do want to make sure that nothing here is intended to diagnose or prevent any diseases. But one thing I can say with this second shred, my thyroid went out, and I was drinking a lot of the electrolytes and everything that I told you, but I was still not well. And I said, you know, this is not good. And again, my teacher, Sarah O'Bannon, goes, what medications are you having? And I go, well, it's just the thyroid. She goes, have you checked your thyroid? So I did. And my thyroid was very low. Low and high, and in both means that I needed to bring my medication down, which to me it's great news. They had to bring my micrograms down from 175 to 135 micrograms. And the doctor, I told the doctor what I was doing. And the doctor said, you keep doing what you're doing because it's working. Your thyroid is starting to come back alive. So, and again, this is just me, my personal stuff.
Exactly.
This is not for anyone else, but I do tell you, this ER shred is thebomb.com.
It really is.
We love it because of the community, the support we have. I don't feel alone. I can go to the guides, or I can message any of you guys, because I've done that. I've done it with Susan, that I don't even know her, and said, listen, I need to ask you because I don't want to post anything that'll create chaos. And she was so eloquent the way she answered me, as well as Heather, you know. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to show myself and to inspire others, because I have brought a lot of people in that are doing it, and others are still on the sidelines.
You absolutely have. And she brings up Isabel, thank you for bringing up a really good point. We're never going to give medical advice on this, but you sought out your medical professional to support you. And that has been happening for some people, is that their body starts functioning the way it's supposed to. So if they are working with a medical professional for any kind of long-term issue, you need to be constantly checking in with them. As your health changes, you may need to modify things. And it is the importance of working with the medical professional. Sometimes it's not saying, hey, what do you think about me doing this? Sometimes it's saying, hey, I'm doing this. Will you support me on my journey? You know, there's a different way to approach that conversation, but they do need to be involved in that conversation when you are on a consistent medication for support, because things are going to change with your body as you take back control of your health. Right. And so it's really important. So like when people say, hey, this is going on, we're going to tell you legally, we cannot give you any medical advice. And you're not saying that you treated, cured, or prevented anything, but you're saying, hey, you were able to check in and your thyroid started to come back to life.
Exactly. And the doctor agreed. He's like, continue doing whatever it is that you're doing. And I will continue. Another thing I did want to let you know, because I wrote this down because I didn't want to forget, is the total time that I've been here since May, my total weight loss has been 22 pounds. Okay. And that is like hands down, you know, and this is great. And the best part of it is that, honestly, you guys aren't seeking anything other than to help and educate, because that's all you're doing. Educating us in a way for us to understand our body. So I thank you all for having this, for Sean that created this. A million thank yous to Sarah that brought me in. By the way, I never knew her until the ER shred. So, and she has become a sister to me.
It's amazing. And I think and I'm going to speak on behalf of the board just because we are so in sync with stuff like this. The vibration that this brings to us, seeing people like you come alive, see you active out there, crushing your goals and hitting it. That's all we want. We want our vibration to come up, and it's happening in this community when we see you guys showing up for yourselves. And that's really where the board, that's why we do what we do, because what we take out of this is the empowerment that we see you all gain.
Yep. And another advice that I give anyone that is new, I watch all the videos. I go back. Jesse's videos, oh my goodness, they're amazing. Sean's. And another thing I want to mention, this group is the one that got me for my first time to go live by myself, because I am like Susan. I don't like to go live on anything. And Sean gave that challenge, and I did it, and I faced my fear. And now I can literally start talking, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm literally live. You know, and this, I owe it to this group. I owe you guys so much. And I thank you so much for everything that you give. I keep giving until I have no more to give.
And we appreciate you. And I am so grateful that, when Sean and Crystal started this all, they really set the tone that we are a safe community for people to be authentic and vulnerable. And I really believe that we have a no tolerance for the nonsense. And that's why our community shows up the way they do. And I want to thank you on behalf of the board for how you have shown up for our community. We truly appreciate your energy and everything that you bring. Miss Isabel sharing an update is a shred warrior. Throw up those swords, my friends.
Thank you, guys.
You are a rock star. We love you. We appreciate
you for all your support, and Susan, Jesse, Sean, all of you.
Wonderful to have you. Thank you, Miss Isabel. All right, Miss Julie, you're up.
Hello.
Hello, we get to chat again. I think you and Isabel were both, your first shares were with me as well. I love when I get to substitute. So Julie, can you remind us all where you're calling in from?
Yes, I'm calling in from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, which is just north of Seattle. I'm actually more in the US than I am in Canada because I'm on an island, and the island dips down into US waters. So I'm in Victoria, which is the southern tip of Vancouver Island.
Nice. And who shared your shred with you?
Well, I actually stumbled across it myself. I think in the Isagenix communities that I'm involved in, someone posted something about an ER shred group. So I went looking for it. I found it. And yeah, my first thoughts were like, this is crazy. They don't drink ionics. Like, what the hell? So then from there, I was like, I'll just watch. And it piqued my interest. I read lots and saw lots. And then my leader, Lisa Wolney, called me up in, I think it was November of 2021. She called and she said, have you seen anything about this ER shred? It's Dr. Greenlaw and it's his son. And I was like, yeah, I have. Like, it's crazy. They don't drink ionics. And she's like, I'm going to give it a try. She's like, December 26th, right after Christmas, we'll start it. I'm like, oh, like that's like a month away. Okay. So we got to sit on this for a month. So I hung up the phone with her. I got in, I researched more. I'm like, no way, I'm starting this right away. So I started right away. She never did do it. So yeah, I just flew with it and I loved it. I was 100% vegan about a year and a half leading up to doing the ER shred. So I literally went one day from eating as a vegan to the next day eating a steak. And I've never been a steak eater, never been a butter eater, never been a salt eater. I've dieted my whole life. and was raised with a mother who owned a diet center. So those things, I mean, we had steak in the house, but I preferred chicken, and I ate a lot of chicken and a lot of ground turkey. I went through Isagenix and I ate a lot of chicken and a lot of ground turkey and very, very little red meat. I lost 145 pounds with Isagenix. My first 7 months, I lost 100 pounds, and then I went on to lose an additional 45 pounds. And I've maintained that now for 7 years.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Holy, that's your life back right there, which is wonderful with our company. So vegan to shred.
Yeah.
I tried plant-based. I did it for like 6 months. It wasn't me. Give me a steak any day. So what were your thoughts when you jumped in on that and you flipped that switch and came this way?
Well, I mean, again, it's like, can I really eat red meat like this? And you know, I wasn't a vegan. I was a vegan because it was a trendy thing to do. I was bored with the chicken and the chicken and I love meal prepping. I love cooking. So I'm like, let's do something new. And that's why I did vegan, and I rolled with it. I felt okay on it, but I was seeing my weight come up. I was craving a lot of carbohydrates because I was working out pretty hard as a vegan and not meeting the protein that my body needed, I don't think. And I got to a point where I was like, I'm not well. I'm aching every night. I'm tired. I have trouble getting through my workouts. And the ache was a big thing. Like I said, I sit down on the couch at 6 o'clock and go like, where is all my energy? And every ounce of my body ached that I literally, it's like, I can't sit down. I need to go to bed. And I was like, something's not right. So I was ready for a change for sure. And yeah, I was willing to give it a try and see. And yeah, within 11 days, the aches started to go away, and I was sleeping better, and I had more energy. It took me probably 3 good shreds before I actually felt like I was coming alive, which is funny because I eat super clean and I cleansed regularly as a vegan. So I'm not sure why it took me so long to get there, but I was feeling better. So that was good. But the actual come alive, like on fire, like AF, like this is crazy, was about 3 shreds in.
And you know what? I love that you shared that, because I think some people think they come in and they're at baseline in 11 days, and it's not always the case. Every body is different. And coming in from eating fully plant-based to shocking your body to eating this ER shred lifestyle. Were you on the plant-based shakes prior to shred too?
Yeah.
So like your body went from a complete 180 on what you were putting in it. So it took some time, I'm guessing. Like that's a Susan Jesse area. Yeah. But I also think it's funny that you shared that you went vegan because it was a trendy thing to do. And I think a lot of people jump onto something because it's a trendy thing to do. And what I love, and we learned even more last night as Jesse was sharing, and the research is coming out, that we're really onto something that has some serious meat in it in the science. In more ways, sorry, didn't even realize I went there. But in what's going on for us nutritionally, and the science is starting to come out that we're really on the right path versus the next trend that's coming out. What we've got is so much deeper. And so now I'm watching you and I see you showing up and you're lifting some insane, but you couldn't do that before when you were plant-based because
no, I couldn't. I've never done that. Like I mean, I've been lifting weights for a good 5 years now, right? Going to the gym 6-7 days a week, like too much to the gym. I have trouble taking time off the gym, but never ever seeing an increase in my weights, and it being really frustrating, being like, what's wrong with, like, this is it. Like I'm doing the same 20 pounds I've been doing for the last 5 years. And actually probably just within the last, I'd say month and a half, something switched, because now I'm like, not only am I craving wanting to try harder, I'm able to do it when I crave it. So I actually get like I said euphoria tends to be my favorite word these days. I drink my shake, I feel euphoria. I have my meat, my butter, and my butter coffee, and I feel euphoria. I go to the gym and I feel euphoria. That's coming alive for me.
Chills. I got chills. I think Susan did too. I'm watching her in my camera, definitely. So did that happen overnight? Were you able to jump there overnight? No. You had to make your adjustments, but you're 7 months in and now look at it.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself going back to any other lifestyle after doing that?
No, I said there's been things that have come across my plate and trainers that have approached me and stuff. And I'm like, I'm so happy where I am. Why would I change anything?
Oh, I love that. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's truly what it's about, is the ability to just take control and like you're feeling you're alive. You said you're in euphoria, you've come alive, and that is so true, and we see it and how you show up for our community, and we appreciate that. So what do you say to those that feel like they haven't quite hit that sweet spot yet, that they haven't quite got to where they are, that they want to push a little bit harder? What do you say to them?
Yeah, I think the big thing is like, are you happy where you are? Then try again. Are you happy where you are? Well, I'm getting there. Well, then you need to try again. Like, I think you need to keep trying and adjusting, because again, like I really think my gym has, it's crazy, but I really think my gym has improved since Jesse suggested that I have the amp hydrate before I go to the gym. I was going on just a black coffee. I'm at the gym shortly after 5:30 in the morning. And so literally I'm out of bed. And the first thing I do is I drink my black coffee on the way to the gym. So I'm not even having water or anything. It's just black coffee. So now I'm downing 20 ounces of hydrate. And then I'm drinking my black coffee on the way to the gym. And then when I'm getting to the gym, I'm drinking 30 ounces with a teaspoon of Himalayan salt, lemon and lime, fresh lemon and lime squeezed in it, half a lemon, half a lime. And I'm coming alive at the gym because that's the only thing I've changed. So I've got to think that's what's doing it for me.
So wait a minute, you listened.
I listened.
You educated.
Yeah.
You adjusted. You saw results.
Yeah. So yeah, again, if somebody's not, like, keep adjusting, keep going to the next level. Don't stop.
Right. Yeah. And nothing is set. It's all fluid. You have to be willing to try things. And like Jesse was sharing in the call last night, maybe it didn't work for me this time, but maybe I need to go a little bit further, then I can try something different. Like when he was referencing the black beans, oh, it's a culprit. Well, maybe you went too far swinging the other way. Maybe you need to adjust how you come into things. Mm-hmm. But isn't it amazing that your body is telling you this? Like, oh, maybe if I have some electrolytes with the salt and lemon and lime and the hydrate before I hit my workout, look what I can now do.
Yeah.
That's a simple change, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For a big result.
Yeah, it's a huge result.
And I think listening and showing up to learn, we all can make those adjustments as we keep tweaking things.
Yeah. Well, I said if I wasn't in this community and I didn't watch Chat Live that day, I wouldn't have learned all that, right? Mm-hmm. And thought, oh my gosh, I got to try that. And I got up and I tried it. And I said, he asked me how long it took, and I think it took about 4 days. And I actually had one day where I ran out of salt and maybe lemon and limes. And so I went a couple days without, and I actually felt my gym strength go down.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's got to be the difference.
I love that. Your body's really telling you anything. Is there anything else on your heart that you want to share with our community?
No, again, I'm just so grateful to Isagenix and the products, and I'm really happy for this ER Shred group because I was getting a little lost in the whole big product scheme of things. Just, when your energy's low, you take an E-shot. When your energy's low, you take Ionics. When your energy's low, you take Nitro. Like, I was drinking my way through calories that my body didn't need the carbs and the sugar, because carbs and sugar is not good for me. I do have like PCOS, and I have borderline thyroid problems and borderline blood sugar problems. I mean, I'm really healthy and I don't take any medications, and I'm a pinnacle of health, but I was losing my way. And so I'm so grateful that I came across this group that just took things really back to the basics for me, because that's all I needed and that's all that my body needed.
And that's part of what I love, is the beauties and the simplicity.
Mhm.
It absolutely is. All right, let's throw up some sword for this warrior. He keeps showing up for us. We
Yes.
appreciate you, Miss Julie, calling in from Canada, even though she's technically, Northwestern US. Well, we are crossing those borders, and we appreciate you for that. All right, last up for tonight, Mr. Jeff Bourget. Are you out there?
Yes, I am.
Hello, friend. How are you?
Good, and you?
Good. So can you remind us who shared ER Shred with you?
See him on the call, Don Drury.
Don Drury. That's what I thought. And you're not far from me. You're just over the border in Rhode Island, right?
Correct.
Calling in, yes, New England represent tonight.
Yes.
And you know what, Rebecca? I'm going to call you New England, even though you moved out, you're still here. So, Jeff, what is it you're passionate about?
Oh my God. I'm just still trying to get healthier.
Looks like you're pretty passionate about that grill lately.
I have been. I mean, it's funny because when they were talking, I actually pulled my folder out, and the 29th is when I started a year ago.
The 29th of July?
Yeah.
Wow. So you're coming up on your shred anniversary. So what has this last year been like?
It was interesting. I had been working out and things weren't happening. And Don talked to me and I'm like, there's no way I can do this. And he's like, you got to give it a try. And I could tell you, I remember calling him and I couldn't even finish my shakes. I was so full when I started. I was surprised. And over time, I got used to that, but I couldn't exercise a lot. I was on the treadmill a little bit at a time. And I mean, I go in the gym for an hour to 2 hours now, and it's incredible. So when I started, I'm in a year, I'm down about 70 pounds. I was wearing a 2XL tall shirt and 42 pants, and I'm now wearing an extra large shirt. I've got 36 pants on. I just bought actually some 34 and large shirts that I can get in a little snug, but I'm going to work my way there.
I have no doubt you'll be there in no time because you keep showing up.
The interesting part, so the things I've learned is like I had to change my workout routine. I had been doing the same workout routine just too long. I had been doing it for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And what a difference I noticed when I started doing a few of the different exercises. It changed. My body just started changing. I didn't realize that. I'd say 4 or 5 months in, I had lost a good amount of weight.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my first doctor visit. And she couldn't believe me when I walked in the door. And we went over all my stuff. And she goes, you need to start eating more vegetables. And I said, because I told her about the whole program. And I said, what's wrong with my blood work? What's wrong with me? Why do I need to change anything?
Mm-hmm. And
she didn't know what to say to me.
But she was just telling you because that's what she was told to tell you, right?
Yeah. I go, I'm not changing anything unless you tell me I'm sick or I have to change something.
Exactly.
She goes, you're not going to be able to keep this up, I don't think. And I said, well, we'll see you next year. So I'm looking forward to going back again this year because I'm even smaller than I was then.
I can't wait. That is fantastic.
So that's been interesting to me. The other thing I found out, the other thing I'm finding out, and this has actually been recently, is sleep. How important my sleep. Oh my God. If I don't get a good night's sleep, I'm miserable. More than normal, my wife would say. but I don't feel good. I actually don't feel good. I'm like, I don't get it, but
Yeah.
so I think I've learned a lot about different things about my body and what affects it. That's, you know,
And
to
how
me,
has your sleep been? So you noticed a change? Has it been better quality? Have you noticed when something's interrupting it?
it was really good. And lately it's been very bad. I haven't been sleeping. I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm waking up at like 1 o'clock in the morning and going back to sleep at like 3 or 4.
Oh,
And then I'm
Yeah.
up at 5. So
but have you been journaling to try and figure out what's different that might be interrupting that?
my dogs recently, I can tell you that.
Ah,
So
yeah.
I think it'll get back.
Yeah, I think this New England heat wave that we have been in is messing with everybody right now
Yeah. Yep.
because it's nasty.
I think those are some interesting facts, and the products working. I mean, it was funny because my wife's this tiny little 100-pound, and I started doing this, and I'm just cooking steak, and she's like, well, wait a minute. I'm like, well, you can make more. Well, she started following it, and now she's doing the shakes, and she's doing it, and she was like, hey, when's the next shred? So we were just talking about that the other day, but she feels better. Like, she noticed it. She feels better. Just I haven't bought soda for the house and I don't know how long. We drink the Amp and water.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of milk here and there. And I think that's the one thing I know when I post things, I've been doing this for a year, so I do.
Yeah.
I'm not strict. There's times I'll admit, I have some food. The one thing I really have not given up, I can say, is ice cream. I still have some ice cream at night every once in a while.
Yeah, but then again, if you listened to Jesse last night,
Yep.
we talked about that 80-20, 90-10, because you're not in a health crisis, you're not a rigid athlete. So you are allowed that space to treat yourself, because you don't want to be living a lifestyle where you feel miserable because you're depriving yourself of that one little treat that you want. And I know there's some really good ice cream places around here. We got some really good homemade ice cream around here. I get it.
Yeah.
So I understand. But again, you have been on this journey long enough that your metabolism is flexible enough to rebound, that you're not going to completely derail yourself, that you have control over it. That ice cream here and there is not going to completely tank you. And I'm guessing if it does, that's when you pull yourself back in, because you know how to get back on the tracks to turn it back around.
Yeah.
And that's the lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah. And the good thing, like when I started, I had a CPAP machine on high blood pressure. I've been through the doctors. I'm been off my CPAP. And I'm slowly getting off of my blood pressure medicine. So I'm hoping that my next visit that I'm off of it.
Even without vegetables.
Even without vegetables.
Sorry, I had to go there. I couldn't leave that be. I had to go there. Even without the vegetables, I still see, because you keep showing up and you're moving and you're active.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that getting rid of that CPAP machine helped you improve your sleep.
Oh my God. Yes.
Because those things, my dad's on one, they're a pain in the butt, and they're loud and obnoxious.
Yeah. Oh, I can honestly tell you, when I got that machine, I put it on and I would be asleep for 7 hours. My wife gets so mad. As soon as I put that mask on, I was out in about a minute, and I was out for 7 hours.
Yeah, but I'm guessing it kept her up, because I used to hear my dad's through the wall.
Yeah.
So she got better sleep too, since you started your Fred journey.
Yes. But the interesting, so it's been like, I lost a lot of weight, which was nice. I've had to buy new clothes, all it, but the health is like, I go out in the yard and I love being in the yard. I work all day long and I'm out working some of the younger guys at work. It's like, they look at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, don't worry about it.
No, that's
You
when you
know?
say you want to try it. Can you keep
Yeah.
up with me? It's time for you to give it a try.
Yeah, yeah. And in recent, like last month, I was talking with Jesse because I've kind of hit, I kind of hit that plateau. Like I've lost the weight. I'm doing good.
Mhm,
Now I want to start.
mhm.
I've never in my life been cut at all, like those guys are. So that's kind of like, I'd like to try that. And I know it's going to take me a while because I've been big for a long time.
Mhm.
But Jesse's like, you'll laugh, but when I jumped into this, I gave up. I didn't have coffee, tea, anything. I haven't had coffee until last month. And that's how committed I was when I started. I could see her face. I had no coffee whatsoever. And I just recently started drinking. Jesse had me put 1 cup of coffee with butter and some MCT oil.
Yep.
In the morning.
Yep.
Before I work out.
Yeah.
And I noticed the difference. It was amazing how that worked. And then he's like, start having like some broccoli and asparagus and stuff with your meal at night.
Yep.
And when I eat, the people can't believe how I eat. And they're like, you lost all. I go out on Friday night. We go out every Friday and I have a piece of baked fish, an order of steak tips, and I have a side of bacon. And I'll occasionally have a baked potato full of bacon and butter with it. And I eat that whole thing every Friday night. And they're like, how can you lose weight? And I go, this is what you do.
www.ershredders.com. Come on in, check us out, and give it a try. That's what you do.
Yeah. It's good. So, I mean, that in a nutshell is kind of my story. I don't know if there's questions or I'm sure I
No,
missed some stuff.
I'm so excited to hear you. And I like, you and Julie, very similar. You were able to improve your workouts by listening, getting your shreducation and adjusting, right? Based on the feedback that was given. Because this 11 days is the 11 days, but then it's start exploring food and how are you properly fueling your body with the right foods for you.
Yeah.
Once you've gotten that baseline, and then everything else falls into place, but you have to be willing to play. You have to be willing to try, and you have to be willing to listen, right?
Yeah.
That's part of it too. I think some people are so stuck that they think what they've done, like you were saying, your workout was the same for 2 years.
Yeah.
You kind of got stuck in what was comfortable.
Yeah.
Then you made some adjustments and you see some results. So be willing to adjust the habits to get the results.
Jesse's got me. I'm doing I
can only imagine.
the different dumbbell exercises. The hit training. I'm doing. I could never do it before. I'm doing interval training on the treadmill, and it feels good.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Jeff, you are one of our shred warriors who shows up for us, and we appreciate you for coming on, giving us an update and consistently showing up and showing us really that it's a lifestyle. And so I want to close us out with my BFF that I too have never actually met in person. But if we don't talk every day, she checks on me like, are you okay? The head of our health professionals, Miss Susan Rothman. I know you've got things to share after tonight.
Yeah, I really miss these calls. I'm so glad we're back to these, and it's so interesting on the heels of, and me and Jesse do talk a lot, but we're always on the same page. And so both of us, I did a live this week too, talking about personal goals, flexibility, starting to open things back up depending on your goals. So we're going to be bringing more and more of that But, you know, tonight I'm listening, and all of you, there's themes running through everything. You know, Rebecca, you know, for you, you know, we're making a lot of changes all at once. And I knew you needed to find your baseline there before I threw something else in the mix, you know, and we have to support people where they are, you know, even people coming into the community, if they have a lot of health issues, you know, maybe they're not going to cleanse in 2 days, maybe they'll do a few more shake days, and to have that flexibility. And what we're hearing tonight is an inflammation, right? And this is what I said when I did my live, name it whatever you want. You can name it whatever you want, whether it's polycystic ovarian syndrome, insulin resistance, autoimmune, high blood pressure. It all has a link, right? So, and what we're watching here, and it's so funny that we have to be compliant and careful, because of course we don't treat disease, but we damn well support health. And that's what we're seeing here, and people changing their lives for the better. Jeff, that question that you asked your doctor, that is the question. That's what we all need to do in this time, in this space, is why? Why are you telling me that? Why shouldn't I eat meat? Where's the science? You know, when you do that, it's like, oh, then you get, you know, then they don't know what to say, or they'll come up with language and go right up above you to shut you up, so you can't understand what they're saying, almost like they're speaking in Latin. But we deserve to know what's going on with our bodies. And you're killing it. You're going to walk in there, Jeff, in a year or whenever your checkup is, and you're going to be better than where you are now. And it's like, well, I didn't add vegetables, right? But that being said, there's no harm in adding vegetables. And Julie, you know, you have such an incredible story. You all do. But I wanted to speak to you for a second because, and I was going to ask you, and you already said it, did you find your home? And it sounds like you did find your home. But everything you were describing was walking into insulin resistance coupled with a carbohydrate-based diet. Now, I don't know what you were doing when you were vegan, but vegan is a carbohydrate-based diet. Most of what you're eating is cold and damp. What's cold and damp? A swamp. And then you want cellular energy to kill it in the gym. Well, you know, so what happened, what it sounds like to me, right, is that you started putting in this fuel. And because of maybe the time frame and what was going on, the PCOS, it took your cells a minute to say, hey, you know what, I can trust this chick. Let me start letting things in and letting things out. And that was probably your come alive moment. You know, so this is what we get to do. We get to come in here, walk each other, hold each other's hands while we walk our way back to health. And then Isabel. So I get emotional on these calls because me and Jesse. So what do you want to do? You want to teach people to fish. You don't want to give them the fish. Well, you educated us tonight, all of you. And Isabel is like on fire with this, you know, and that is what's so rewarding, that this simple protocol walks, talks, lives. We can share it. You know, I tell a lot of people, you know, if you're sharing this protocol and you're new to it, use the group. Use the group. And even when I share with new people, I know this is controversial for a lot of people. So I bring them in the group. I tag them on the welcome post. Thank you, Heather. And I use Sean's Not Keto because it's a short overview. And then I tell them, have a look around, you know, because you can say whatever you want, but the results are walking and talking. And it's like this last month with Sean being on vacation, it's sort of like we can even step back and you guys are running the community. And Julie, you've been around a long time. I don't know of another Isagenix group that's doing that. The activity and the camaraderie and the true love in this community, and the support is always there. You know, whether, like Isabel said, she reaches out to me, you know, I mean, so many of you. I have a friendship today with my friend Brent, and of course, Heather, me and Rebecca. I've gotten to know Rebecca. So here I am sharing with people, watching them change their lives, sleeping well because of that, and then bringing all these beautiful people into my life that are like-minded and that are high flyers. And doesn't the world need that today? So, you know, these calls are very, very special to all of us. You know, keep an eye out in the group. You know, me and Jesse are bringing it now about bringing back carbohydrates and vegetables and how to do that and how to plug that into where you are and what you want. And that's basically what I got, you know, just this whole call tonight is people sharing how they have reclaimed their health and now are empowered. Rock on.
And wasn't that my live the other day? Elimination reset, empowered results, right?
Exactly.
PR has so many meanings. And for me, the empowered results is the most meaningful and the most gratifying from my position as head of the board to see all of you coming to life empowered. So just a reminder for those of you who are empowered and you want to share, if you want to learn more about the business, tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, the other Shred ambassador, Mr. Bob Sivright, will be live on Zoom. You can find that in our Shredders Unite Facebook group. The link to that group is in guide 4 because I can't remember the link off the top of my head, but I do know where you can find it in our guides because everything is in our guides. I promise you, if it's not there, then it's not important. All right. Thank you all for showing up. We'll be back again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.